Making this video to go over this Zen logic business. So the first thing is, how do you approach Zen? Without saying that, it is um, not found among the things that exist. It is not found among the things that don't exist, and it is not found among the things that are neither of these. I was reading Huang Po on, I think this is The Transmission of Mind. I don't know when it was written. The point is that I was reading it and I noticed what appeared to be, first of all, a concept, a fairly recognizable concept, which I can't remember at the moment. It had something to do with ram's horns. And it was near the end of the book. And the structure of the sentence was such that it revealed a data compression format, which, in my view, is a way to approach mathematics and I'd have to take a look at it, but my basic thought was that the Zen, the thinking here is that if you can crack Zen, then what you know is that you're starting from the point of all exits are blocked except for one, so it's a matter of predictable behavior. And what you're looking at is theorizing as to this predictable behavior. I think part of what I understood is that you're talking about a ram's horn or multiple ram's horns. There was a point where basically in the Huang Po it said, if you get something out of the void nature, then you just got a ram's horn. And then there's an example of basically a mistake that one could make when, I suppose, contemplating void nature or the great void. And then there's the comment that this is just another ram's horn. And I think, this is, questions, is it worth doing? I think so. I think it's worth interpreting Zen texts. I think it's perfectly acceptable to submit Zen texts to a process whereby they are interpreted. In other words, to treat a Zen text as the data input to a computer. I think this is sort of the opposite. This is sort of an anti-computer kind of view. That if you're sick of dealing with electronic computers, real world electronic computers, then learn a little bit about interpreters. And by an interpreter, I mean a shell in the sense of the identity preserving prefix non-decreasing map of monoids with codomain a cancellative monoid. These interpreters, what about them? The thinking here is that this is an abstract computer. And so instead of dealing with real electronic computers, we can deal with imaginary abstract computers. And furthermore, frankly, develop kind of an idea, I suppose, or a concept of domination of the electronic computer by the abstract concept of the interpreter. Now, abstract interpretation actually means something specific in computer science. What I'm talking about are mathematical abstractions, and one does not commonly refer to mathematical objects as abstractions when dealing with them. Usually, when we talk about a mathematical abstraction, it's in contrast. It's a matter of contrast to typing keys on a keyboard or something, entering data entry for text files. But the thinking here is that instead of, so basically the point here is that with the computer, what is the data input? Well, it's just garbage. It's just whatever comes out of your head. It's whatever the Great Pyramid wants you to think. Blame the Jews, blame God, blame the Great Pyramid, blame Zen, blame the Chinese, blame Egypt, blame the Zoroastrians, the Buddhists, blame Abraham, blame Job, blame whoever wrote the Bible. But enough blame. The point here is that instead of using the occult, basically, actually, this is the real point I wanted to make, is that when you're dealing with an ordinary electronic computer, the data input is just whatever occult magic decides you should, which keys you should type and how you should move the mouse. Which is basically just thinking with your penis or letting women think for you. Instead of being forced into this stupid position where you have to, where your back is against the wall, God, and the computer is, facing you, and you're sort of cowering in this corner, not sure what to do, and so in a moment of weakness, you start, typing about, how horny you are and how much you want to have sex with girls and women, and thinking about beautiful women and hanging out and having fun and making people jealous, and this really moronic high school tier experience. And so instead of having that be the data input, this high school moronic garbage, we say, okay, fine, forget about it. Instead of having a fixed computer and variable data input or data entry, we'll have fixed data entry, Huang Po, transmission of mind, and we'll just think about abstract interpreters, mathematical abstractions that are this interpreter. And we'll just keep sort of, planing it down. We'll just keep, feeding the text to these interpreters until we get sparks, until the sparks start flying and the whole thing, is engulfed in flame, or whatever, if you want to use chemical metaphor, let's talk about chlorine. I love chlorine. I mean, for whatever reason, occult magic has decided that I should be in love with chlorine for the next 2 weeks or whatever. I mean, it beats reading news, so who am I to complain?